Leo. There's this little noise in the background. If you hear it, it's the next door doing some work, I guess. And this month is Sagittarius season. I have basically a little words of advice or questions written down. This month for you won't be anything major going on as far as it seems right now, or as it seems so far. My words have been a little jumbled lately, so forgive me. Basically, it's like you need some adventure, some R&R. Yeah. And it's about avoiding burnout. Because a lot is starting to surface. You're inspired. Surface meaning a lot is coming into fruition or wanting to connect with you. And you're still kind of in this place of, where you need to allow some sort of like a resurrection period for whether it's money, or resources or stability. You feel a lot more stable in yourself, but it can be easy to get swept up this month. So what I would say is just be careful about getting swept up this month. And that R&R will be really helpful to finish processing whatever it is you need to process. For some of you, this could be something that came up along the lines of how you saw stability growing up, what that looked like for you, where it is in your life, where it is in your life that you have needed to not only have your own perspective or come to your own conclusion. It's more just like you can live that way, but there's just more impatience that need to be utilized this month. So don't get caught up if things don't catch fire right away. Towards the end of the month, I think you'll see more, because there's something like, if you're processing something, is this the best time for things to come your way? No. But it would be great towards like the wrapping up of some major processing to do with your self-worth and how that was passed along to you, what was passed along to you, and what's important now. Got a lot of cards. That was like, took a while. So usually that's like something really important and specific needs to come out. So here we have you. Yeah, so there's this strange, sorry, I get a little dyslexic with the cards and how you're reading them as opposed to how I'm reading them. So basically, this month wants you to trust those small decisions that you make to give you, this is all happening to give you more energy. What has happened is here to give you more energy. You may need some advice, some sound and solid advice this month. Yeah, I love that expression, sound and solid advice. And you might find it from a figure that you can go to that's a very stable figure. And you find that just through maybe even casual conversation, you have this moment of like a wind sweeping moment of inspiration. And you can really act on this towards the end of the month. Questions that you may have are just may just fall into your lap. They may just be waiting for you to get to that place where they can fall into your lap. and you can confidently acquire a lot this month, having to do with how you want to and where you want to take control in your life. Like, you're just kind of thinking about, like, where would it be easier or more beneficial if I had control over this? Knowing that, you know, the universe is still in play, situations are still in play, but if you had this, how, like, you would feel a little bit more in control. And if you can let go of this, you may run into, for some of you, it may feel like you're running into a brick wall at a certain point, because these shifts and changes in the astrology, which we'll get into the second part, which will be in a link below for Patreon. It comes out towards the end of the month on YouTube, and all information to work with me one-on-one is there as well before we move further. But there's this very innate feeling you can come back to this month, and you might have some help getting there from people who are very stable and can be very nurturing to these parts of you. Even though you're very externally giving, there are people who will give to you internally this month. And not that you're not internally either, just that there are certain times and places for it. But you may find this month that you are given in like an internal you're being given the opportunity to express this confidence, especially in your physical life. That seems to be growing no problem. And the more that you find yourself in kind of this discussion with yourself of like having more outlets to have fun, or having more time to rest, or having more time to take for yourself in ways that you consider important or that are very specific to what you need to keep this running, you realize that certain things become non-negotiables, or certain things become a representation of how what you once were trying to control, or once you were trying to maybe dominate or get an upper hand on, that's not really the point. Like, you can make that the point this month, and it could be beneficial to you, sure, but it's not going to help you like move from the place that you came into the season, and how you came into the season, the place that you're in when you came into the season. And there will be restructuring that will happen, but that will be towards the end of the season and into Capricorn season, into next month. This month is about how you navigate all of these different stimulations, all of these different things to do or people to see. And because you're so clear on who these people are now, you can realize that there are people who have always been rooting for you or here for you and beneficial to your life. But then there are some people or some situations that have only been a part of it because of, again, that control, or that what you have power over. They liked that part of you, perhaps. And because you're switching that up, or you're seeing where it would be more beneficial to in your life to shift things, you may see a different side of these people or the situation. It becomes very obvious to you, and it's not like a very quick, sudden, overwhelming moment. It's kind of like you might have a conversation with someone that you can confide in, and you basically realize in the moments, or with this reflection of even this person, that it's been a long time coming for you to notice this, to notice how the reason why I'm saying burnout is because you're like, but it's fire season. Like, I'm not going to burn out. But like, if you overextend yourself where people are always expecting you to, and this is advice for almost everybody this month. It's a very general, but it's different, uniquely different for each of us and how we go about doing this, is that you can't give in which that you don't have to give to yourself or to anyone else. And how you view your life and how you view what you've done thus far and what you want to do is all up to you and your own decision. You may feel like you're in a race, but there's no race happening. If you want to like sign up for one, go ahead, but that's not what's happening here. Things that happen and the way that we gain more success, depending on how you define that, is pretty spontaneous, unless you have like a very diligent intention and this plan that you work on. A lot of things that happen can be very spontaneous to our situation and come in at the time where it's, perfect. There's divine timing in it all. So instead of looking for those answers or those occurrences, and I don't think you really are. So this month you might be somewhat surprised, but in the end, if it gives you more energy, Leo, take it. If these people never really were fucking with you for the right reasons, then so they're lost, right? They're lost. And I'm only saying, I'm not saying that you're not hurt, but they're lost. Move on. You only want what's and who is good for you, who really does adore you and give you that attention that you need. And how much more confidence you have moving forward, knowing and being validated. You're being validated by yourself. And the answers that you're seeking as well, they're coming out. This unblocking that is happening is also unblocking your heart in a way that I think you're going to be able to give more depth or more value to whatever it is that you've chosen to do as a career, profession, or whatever kind of job you're doing now or creating. There's so much more substance that's going to be added this month because of all of this. The outlet that you create for yourself is really the only important thing. And it's not going to be all bad. It's not that at all, because you're going to, there's moments, it's like a great personal triumph month. And what a wonderful time to celebrate with those who actually matter, right? You will feel, and I hope that you feel, the love that you really deserve, that you really need in your life, as opposed to what you thought or what they thought, whatever that is, because you then have more time and you realize so much other different thoughts start to go away, or different feelings of if there have been any doubts or insecurities along the way, you realize you're breaking free from some kind of chain of this physical world, yet you still love it out here. You still want to play out here. But there's so much more that comes with you and how you choose that and how you come into that and how you want to express that, how you want to utilize all of it. That all then begins to wrap up and make sense to you by the end of the month. So this month, it's interesting, even I can tell you, just to have a little conversation, that for everyone, it's kind of a similar, this month is really up to your own individual navigation. If you let anyone else take the lead, and again, sometimes taking the lead is being passive in certain moments, then this month will be a lot easier, and it's not meant to be really understood, but to be experienced. So as you go through this month, just notice how these small little key things come back up, and then, proceed and do what you need to. And in your fashion, and you may need to communicate. You might have a really nice also like a very loving communication with someone, maybe a little unexpected, and you realize this whole time that the universe has kind of been construing and that you guys like work together or be more friends, or maybe it becomes like a romantic partner, but there's this collaboration heating up, and it's like you've been flirting and now all of a sudden things open up. And then, in a few months you'll realize like why that was important, and we'll get to it then. So the next part, we'll take a look at the cards, which will be in a link below. Information to work with me below, and I'll have a new podcast out by the end of the month-ish. And that is on a link below. Please check it out. You'll get to know more about me, what influences how I read, and things that I've learned throughout this healing journey of life, literally. And we'll see you next month. Also, hold on. Holiday season, make sure you do reach out to these people, or if you need to, me, Venusian Wave on Instagram. You can DM me. I'm also on TikTok, but Instagram is much easier. And just don't be afraid to do that. Not that you are, but like, you could put your pride aside. You may need to speak up about what you need. And that's okay. If anyone, you could talk to God too. God's always willing to listen, or whatever you want to call the higher power. We'll see you next month, Leo.